P20. Our places. Wow. Soon, apology for the delay in coming live is one of those technical issues. Then now we are live and we are ready to do justice as we have come. I want to celebrate everyone waiting online to view us this evening. And right with me in the studio, I've got lovely friends, lovely sister in the studio. We'll be doing justice to our questions tonight. Before that, we are from Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Ikeja Province, Women Wing. And in the studio with me this evening, guess what, everyone? Is our state coordinator for the Lagos State PFN Women Wing in the person of Apostle Josephine Femi Ambe Ashiwa. You can we give her a round of applause. You're welcome, ma. We celebrate you for coming. We actually you caught us unaware and we love that. Thank you for checking our bags to see we are doing well. Thank you. Also in the studio, with us one of our facilitator in the person of Eniton Afolabi, and that's the secretary for the women wing of Ikeja province. Also, we have our deputy, who is also one of our facilitators or a questionnaire for today's program, in the person of Judith Rhodes Bibles. Can you give a round of applause? Do let them know you're here.
Thank you.
And also, we have one of our facilitators, And she is none other person but our legal director for PFN Ikeja Women Wing. She is in the person of Pastor Funmilayo Ogunsowo. You're welcome. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to be bringing Judith Rhodes up to start the program, even as we want to look into marriages and their legal implication. It busts the heart of people to see that those who once claim to love one another or who intend going into marriage don't know what they are actually going into. And that is the reason why the PFN Women Wing Ikeja is giving this back to our society so that we can understand better. You can take the floor, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. You're all welcome. It's such a privilege to be the one to anchor this program with amazing women of God. All right, we're going to go right into it. And our first question today is going to be taken by Pastor Mrs. Shadi. We want to know, what is marriage?
I never knew you'd be bringing me on spot like this, but well, if that's the case, I think I'll define marriage for who I am, for who I've always been. I mean, being a Christian and a woman, I've come to know that marriage is a union between a man and a woman. And this is an institution that God established for the purpose of having support structure for one another and also procreating and for continuity. I think let me stop there because that's what I can say about marriage.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So we're going to go into the legal classifications of marriage before we come to you, Ma. All right, so Barrister Annie, can you tell us, how do we classify marriages in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. We're in Nigeria, so we're talking based on the laws in Nigeria. The Marriage Act regulates marriages in Nigeria. And under the Marriage Act, there are two types of marriage recognized under the Marriage Act. We have the customary marriages and the statutory marriage, which is also known as marriage under the Act. So those are the two classifications of marriage that we have under the Marriage Act.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah. Now we're going to go to Mrs. Ogunsowo. Can you tell us about the customary marriages in Nigeria?
Okay, customary marriages in Nigeria starts from the basis of traditional and native laws and custom.
Yes,
it has got to do with the native law of a particular place in the state of the nation, because we don't have like a general customary marriage system all over the federation. Then it has also got to do with the nature of it is basically like polygamous, where you have one man marrying one or two or more wives. It can also be polyandry, where you have a woman marrying one or more than two men.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just to probe a bit more, what is the process of traditional wedding, customary marriage? What is it in a layman's term for everyone to understand? How does it actually work?
Thank you. So for customary marriage, we have, like I said, there is no broad-based customary marriage type in the nation. It depends on the natural, the traditional aspects of where the marriage is being conducted, the native laws of that particular place. But as it may, that it has to be with the particular place where it's being conducted. There are other factors that are peculiar to all these areas, be it north, east, west, south. So we have, for instance, if you want to contract a customary marriage anywhere, the factors that are common to all of them will include that first and foremost, the two parties, they must agree that they want to marry.
Yes.
Then there must also be a consent of the bride's family, because that's where the bride is. That's where they are taking the bride from to the man's. So they have to get the consent of the bride's family first. That is very, very important. And then also, it's also common amongst all of us in the country that there must be a payment of bride price, or dowry. Some people call it bride price, some people call it dowry, but it has got to do with gifts that the man we give to his wife as a sign of love. That
Okay.
also is very, very common to us. Then we also have that there must also be the particular marriage, there must be a function, a marriage
Yes.
that is saying that we are married according to the custom. So the marriage, we entail them inviting family members,
Mhm.
friends, and all the people in the community. And during that party, the marriage proper, there will be plenty of drinks, plenty of
Mhm.
food and all
Mhm.
that. Then when you see
Mhm.
people sitting, those people will now serve as witnesses to the
Exactly.
marriage, because it's not as if they are saying, when they had the marriage, where was it done and everything will be there, like an open marriage
Good.
in the place. So everybody will know that actually there was a marriage. So that,
Yes, ma'am.
so aside, after, or within, by before the marriage is party is over anyway, there will also be what we call handing over, in
Okay.
which case the woman, the bride, will now be physically handed
Get
over to the man, and then they now say now they are married.
Okay.
Then there is also the fact that within 60 days
Mhm.
of this contracting of this marriage,
Mhm.
this marriage is supposed to be registered either at the area court or at the customary court within the from at which it was contracted.
Awesome. Thank you
Yes.
so much, ma'am, for that
Thank
explanation.
you.
So now we know what it entails to be customarily married. All right, let's move to you, Eniton. Can you share with us what marriage under the Act looks like?
Okay, thank you. Before we talk about marriage under the Act, I'd like to define what marriage is under the Act, because the definition gives a lot of implication to what it entails. Now, marriage under the Marriage Act is defined as the union of a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others. So, when we talk about statutory marriages in Nigeria, it's the union of a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others. So it means that it is monogamous in nature. And what I mean by that is it's one man and one woman. It's not one man and two women. It's not two women and one man. It's monogamous in nature. Another thing that's peculiar to it is it has to be celebrated in a licensed place of worship. So that's why some people call it church marriage, or at the registrar's office. That's what you have at the registry, where people go to the registry to be married. So aside from those two key points, there are also requirements that make the marriage valid.
Okay.
The first thing is that there must be mutual consent between the two people getting married, the man and the woman. Now, when I say mutual consent, it can't be one person consenting and the other person not consenting. That consent must be voluntary. It can't be forced,
Exactly.
and it can't be under undue influence. So if it's not a mutual consent between two of them, then it's not valid. Another point to note is that where any of the parties below the age of 21, then parental consent is required. Yes, so by that implication, the age for marriage under the Act is 21. So if both of you are 21, the man and the woman, there's no need for parental consent. But once one of them is below the age of 21, you need parental consent or the consent of a guardian for one of them to go through the marriage. Another thing would be, apart from the fact that you need that consent, capacity. Now, the Act does not define what capacity means, but we usually just can't have somebody that is mentally ill get married. It will not be valid. So that's what marriage under the Statutory Act entails.
Okay. At this point, we will also encourage you to send in your questions. Please put it in the comment box from whatever platform you're watching it. We would love to hear from you. So it's not just me asking the questions. We want you to also ask the questions. Okay, we're going to digress a little bit, and we're going to, since it's PFM, let's hear from our mommy. What do you consider to be one of the reasons why, as Christians, we should look forward to getting married?
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. First, I want to really appreciate. There are certain things I'm just beginning to pick personally myself, because I thought, once it's marriage,
that's parental consent, whether you're 30, 40, 50, must be there. But I didn't know that once you're above 21, you're on your own, so you don't need anybody. That's really that's new to me. That's new to me. And coming back to my question, you said why should we? Why is it
married.
important? Why should we get? I think we go back to the definition
Mhm.
she gave, and which is biblical. Look at the scripture in Genesis chapter 1, where the Bible, I mean, chapter 2, where the Bible says it is not good for man to be alone. And from there, we will see the significance of marriage. Marriage, most of the times, people think marriage is about, I've seen somebody, I feel the butterfly.
Mm.
In fact, when I'm doing counseling for marriage, one of the things I first ask in my marriage counseling is, why do you want to marry? And it will shock you, most of the reasons people give is why we have failed marriages. Because people go into marriage without really knowing what marriage is. And that's why I like it that we started by finding out what's the definition, the simple definition of marriage. So you see people saying they want to marry because they want to have children. You see people say they want to marry because they're of age. Some will tell you they want to marry because their mates have married. So it's not actually the reason that there is a need for me to have a partner in my life. And if we look at what the scripture says, what really informed God to make this idea of marriage? It was because he saw that man alone. And everybody has a companion. Everybody has somebody to talk with. Everybody has somebody to run back to. Everybody has so. And that's why I keep telling people that when you marry because of children, you miss it. Because the children, it's possible, it's not a curse. Some might not even come. Let's be truthful about it. Yes, whether I know we are spiritual. I know that the Bible says, none in my house will be barren. But I can also understand that there are certain people that God has given other people some children for you to take care. So it's not about your biological. So some of us might not be fit to take in children biologically, but we have other children that God is bringing into our lives. So now, where there are no children and you base your marriage because of children, you miss the purpose, the intention of God. And when you miss the intention of God for marriage, you lose out in the joy of marriage. And the intention of God for that is companionship. And that whatever you're doing is that I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for a companion, I'm looking for somebody that I'm going to stay together with, I'm looking for someone that we will share our views together, we'll talk with. Imagine when Adam was talking only to cow, he won't understand the language of the cow. Imagine he won't sleep with a cow. That's why some people you see them sleeping with animals, which is not proper. So, but because God has understanding, God was coming to fellowship with him. No, God needed to also rest and have somebody that Adam will be chatting with. So he needed to make somebody for Adam that is fit for Adam, that is capable for Adam, that is not somebody outside, but is suitable for Adam, who is going to be a help, meet, not a helpmate. A help that is fit and meet for him to be able to do what God wants them to do, because there is a purpose. Then there's an assignment God is giving to the two of them. So until they get into that marriage, they won't be able to fulfill that assignment, which is what? That they will create a seed that will fight the enemy at the gates. And that is the seed that was promised from the beginning. And that was the seed, the lamp of God that we saw in Revelation from the foundation of the earth. So there was a purpose for God to make sure that there is a seed that comes out of that seed of a woman that will bruise the serpent. Now, when we miss what God intends for marriage, we lose out in the pleasure and in the joy and the purpose of marriage. So we go back to the definition and we see that that's the essence of marriage in total.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you, ma.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
Thank
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
man. That was
Thank you so much.
explosive, really. Thank you so much.
Oh, please, can I ask a question? Because Anyton was saying something the other time. Is it in the statutory marriage? Is it that the customary marriage cannot come up even with the statutory marriage,
If I get you right, can we have both?
both together?
Can we have the customary marriage and the statutory marriage? Usually, that's what we call the double-decker marriage.
Wow.
It can, but it usually has a lot of complications. Now, I say complications because the implications, the legal effects and implications of the customary marriage is quite different from
That's true. That's
from
true.
the implication of the
Yes.
statutory marriage. If you're
Yes.
married under the customary, if your marriage is customary,
You can.
the man can have more than one wife.
Yes. And same with the woman.
Yes, you can have more than one wife. But under the statutory marriage, you can have only one wife. So if you have both,
There's a conflict.
there's a conflict.
There's a conflict.
So I would not advise that we have both.
Mm.
Now,
No, but
we must differentiate the customary marriage from traditional marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah.
Now we have the traditional marriage, is the ceremony that we carry out,
Yes.
knowing the parents of the bride, knowing the parents of the groom. It's different
What we
from
call the engagement.
yes, what we call the engagement. It's different from when you go to register the marriage in a customary marriage,
After
customary
it.
court after it. Because usually when we do the traditional marriages, we still go to church.
Yes.
So it's quite different. So
Oh,
there's
this is enlightening.
that difference.
That's beautiful. Oh, so what you're saying is that, what you're trying to say now is that what happens mostly that we see, because I can say it categorically that those who do the customary or the traditional
which is
marriage,
the engagement that we see.
those who do traditional marriage, I don't think they go to customary law.
To
No.
register the
No.
marriages, no.
No, because
they
they
don't.
know
They
they are
know
going
they are
to the
still
next
going-
level.
They're going for the statutory marriage,
Marriage.
so they don't need to
Sometimes
register.
it's not that they know. I'm just understanding that because for me, I didn't have this understanding that there is something that has to do should be legalized as customary.
You have
I
to
thought-
register.
I thought because they have already taken the traditional aspect of it, it's automatically customary. That's actually what I thought.
No, it has to be
That
registered.
has to be
registered
has
for
to
it
be
to be-
registered.
So if it is not, so all of us that have been doing this, our jumping up and down of traditional marriage, we have really not done customary.
No, you have not done customer, but you've done traditional.
No,
which
that's
is
what
the
I'm saying.
main.
You've done the
Thing,
rites,
the
but you have
ceremony.
not done the customary.
We haven't made it legal.
The legal, yes, we haven't
To
made
legalize it.
legalize,
We
not
haven't legalized
customary.
customarily.
We have not legalized
Under
it.
any law that is customary.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the reason most people do that is because they know they're still going to go ahead to have the statutory marriage.
Oh.
In fact, I'm just getting it.
Mm.
I won't deceive myself. I'm just getting this, that there is that aspect of the customary marriage that you go to that has legal backing.
Mhm.
Yes,
Oh.
because even the
Wow.
act told us that you can marry statutorily, customarily, and even under Islamic, those three types of marriages, they are legal on their own.
Yes.
They are recognized
Individually
under the
and-
Marriage Act.
and legal.
So you can just pick
Section
one of
35
it.
of the Marriage Act specified that. So those three types of marriages, they are legal on their own.
Now she said something when she was trying to talk about religious worship. No, you said worship.
Licensed place of worship.
Licensed place of worship. So that's what brings the church into
That's
that.
into it.
Okay, so the church is a license because not all churches
Not
are
all
The
churches are
licensed
licensed.
ones.
So there are some that are licensed, and I would have to go and get my license. Which can I ask that question? That do I need as a pastor? How do I get
Yes.
my license? Because
Yes.
I want to know, knowing now that it's not every church that is
That's
licensed.
No. Because
Not
it's,
every
it's
church
actually
that
a
is
federal
licensed.
act. So
Okay.
it's not like a Lagos thing. Marriage is under the federal act.
So how do I now get my license as a church? What are the procedures to have my license as a church to conduct marriages that will make it legal? Because I know they will say if it is not licensed, it's not legal. And so therefore, if I do my marriage in a legalized church or licensed church, I don't need to go to the court.
You don't have to.
No, you
I
don't
don't
have
have
to. You
to.
don't
So
have to, but
how do-
you would
but-
have received the
Of course.
registrar's.
Of course.
What happens with the licensed places of worship
Worship,
is
yes.
they are in touch with the registry.
Okay.
Directly.
So they actually get the registrar's certificate from the registry.
Okay.
That's what gives you the go ahead, the right to be able to hold your marriage in those
Okay.
churches.
Okay.
They apply to the registry to be licensed,
Wow.
Okay.
and then they are licensed.
Okay.
But even for every marriage that is carried out in the churches, they have to, there's a form that even you must still fill.
Yes.
Yes, you fill that form, you return it,
Yes.
whether to your church or to the registry.
Okay.
And then it's giving back to the church. That's why you still have to sign the
Yes.
certificate
Yes.
in,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's taking back to the registry to be
To
registered,
be
actually.
registered.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So there's a process.
there is a process.
for everybody. So I can come to where do I go to in order to get my church license? I'm in PFN, so that's why I'm asking this question, because a lot of pastors have asked this question. We had an issue the other time, and they were saying that churches that are not licensed they cannot solemnize that. In fact, don't assume because you did your wedding in a church that you are licensed.
It doesn't make it
no.
valid,
So
actually.
it doesn't make it valid.
No.
So we needed to ask, how do we as a church now have this license? What is the process? Maybe it's out
You
of this
don't want to
place.
have a
If we don't
question.
have it now to talk about it, maybe it would be good if we have it in one of our PFN program, so that we'll be able to be enlightened together, so that we don't move out of
Yes.
what we are doing
Yes.
now. So let's keep it as points for us to find out better.
Very
Thank
right.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Oh,
so much.
it's been an enlightening moment. Like, for I'm knowing new
Thank you.
things. Oh,
Yes.
yes, Barrister Judy,
Okay.
can go ahead.
Mrs. Ogunso, the
Yes.
next question is for you.
Mm.
What are the legal implications of marrying under customary law?
Like I said earlier on, there is no particular legal implication under the customary type of marriage.
Mhm.
It has got to do with native law and custom. The type of like norms or practices that has been existing in a particular place for long years, that the people now have taken and have adopted as the norm and practice of that particular area. So those ones will go as the customary, and it's binding on them. It has to be binding on them because it's been on for donkey years and it's now part and parcel of them. So that's the legal implication for the customary type of marriage. And as I said earlier, there must be consent of the parties. There must be consent of the bride's family. There must be payment of bride price. It can be in cash, it can be in kind, it can be in any other thing that is like a gift that the husband to be is giving to the bride.
Okay, so now, if a man approaches a lady now and says, I want to get married to you only under the customary law, should that lady be concerned?
Not really. We have said it that customary type of marriage is also as legal as the two other types of marriages, statutory and Islamic. So there is nothing wrong in if after you've done your customary marriage and then you've gone to lodge your marriage whatever at the registry and you've been registered, it is as legal as going through the statutory thing and also getting it legalized.
But that man can marry another
That's
woman.
why I want to ask.
Wait. I know where she's going.
Yes, because
No, I know where she's going.
Yeah.
ma'am.
No, not only her.
No,
Okay.
no.
And that's why she asked,
No.
you advise?
This is how this thing works. Now, if the man is marrying a wife under customary, and then the man now jumps to take another woman to the court, to the statutory, it makes the statutory one illegal.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
No,
Unless
come again.
I said if a man marries a woman
Yes.
customarily, like
yes.
the procedure that we've said
Yes,
accrue to
Yes.
customary type of marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
He now decides to take another woman.
Okay.
You know now that the woman with the customary, they are living together.
Yes.
So he now decides to go and take another woman
Okay.
to court
Okay.
to give her ring and all this and do all the
Yes,
legal
yes.
statutory and everything. The statutory marriage is illegal.
Wow.
It is.
Yes.
It is illegal because apart from the fact that first in time, we
Wow.
call it first in time,
Yes.
Wow.
will happen. The marriage that he conducted first with the first woman under customary law is legal as the one he's going to do.
But
The only thing,
you see, he is eligible to marry
Under
another wife.
Under
customary.
Under
marriage.
customary.
Okay,
Under
if it's to
customary.
marry,
Yes.
it must still
It
be
must
under
under
customary.
Under
Yes.
customary. The what we are now even saying is that if the man wants to go statutory, like what most people do these days, like what all of us do, because we go through engagement which we call traditional.
And we don't do customary. We don't
no,
go to
no,
the customary courts.
we say, because in the southern part we just call it engagement.
Yes.
The only thing that is making it not be customary in the sense of
It's not
customary
registered.
That's what I'm
It's not
saying.
registered.
is
Yes,
not registered.
Yes.
Because even up till now, you cannot go to customary court and be asking for documents.
Wow.
You cannot, because we don't give customary don't give documents. You cannot come to customary courts now and say, look, the certificate that they give. Immediately you mention certificate, they just say, please, it's not customary type of marriage that you did. You have to go to the high court where you get your
No, but
problem
is there no
solved.
certificate in the customary?
There is no certificate. They don't issue no certificate.
So what's my legal?
What's binding? What's your
what's
legal
binding?
evidence that
There is no certificate issued as certificates for customary marriage.
but your case is filed,
How
your
is it
marriage is filed.
You register it.
You register, and that's why you need
And that's
witnesses.
just it.
That's why the
Yes.
family is involved.
So when there
And
when
sometimes
there
they're
are
asking for the
issues,
pictures.
yes.
then when there are issues, not even pictures. This thing we are talking about native laws and customs. They say, Mr. Akini, I was there now. Shebi Mama,
So
something
the
was there.
witnesses
Is
are quite.
is that
The
no?
witnesses
that-
are
that-
quite
that-
important for
Yes.
customary
The
marriage.
witness,
Yes.
Yes, because even when they are doing things like witchcraft and all these things, nobody has seen anybody witchcrafting
Who's
anybody.
flying in the eye.
But in the natural sense of it, you see
There are
people come,
evidence.
we see people. No, it's people that will come and give and if they're able to convince the courts by their evidence, because we are talking about rules and regulations and things that have been going on with them over the
Tradition.
years,
Tradition.
which has now become binding to them. Would they be their beliefs
Mm.
in that particular place?
Mhm.
What they believe in that particular place is different from what operates in the north. It's
Mm.
different from what's in the south. They say,
Yes.
well, which one? Don't you believe there is witchcraft? We believe. They say, okay, prove it. We say, last year, this woman has a way of doing things. She will put the thing inside the bottle
Wow.
and close it.
So the certificate for customary marriage is
Are
the
witnesses.
witnesses.
Wow.
Are the witnesses?
Yes,
they will
they are
come
the
in
witnesses.
person.
So that proves
Most
it.
of
Yeah.
the
So now,
things
what is your what
personal.
is would
And
you
it's
what is the like she
physical.
said? What is the consequences or what?
Yes.
the
What-
legal
what-
implications.
Legal
And
implications.
that's what I've just told her, that there is nothing as in written like the statutory. The only implication is that you must get the consent. If the two of you must agree we want to marry ourselves, then the bride's family too must say, okay, we have seen the
No,
man.
So
Would you
what you mean is
advise?
that-
Would you
What
advise
advice?
like a daughter to you
To you,
to
yes.
get married to a man who insists on only getting
Oh,
married?
that's the
customary?
question. she
If
asked.
that is what he wants, and if he suits the lady, why not? Because it's a valid type of marriage.
But he can marry another woman, and you're okay with
If he
that.
marries another one, I've told you, whether he marries another one, taking the second one to start it,
No.
or he marries another one,
Custom.
even through customary,
Mhm.
the second one is illegal first in time.
No, hold on. No, hold on. Are you saying that if
No,
he
he cannot marry another person. That's what I'm saying.
Customarily.
No,
Customary.
customarily.
He cannot marry another one customary unless if it is traditional.
Uh-uh.
Unless if it is traditional.
Let's get this
Listen,
thing right. So
listen.
that our viewers.
No, listen. What I'm saying. Unless if it
You
is
can't
traditional,
register it.
you cannot register it.
Yes.
You
So
cannot
he can
register.
he can have two traditional weddings.
You can have,
marriages.
no, it depends on what there is customary,
This thing is confusing.
which we have
Yeah.
said.
So that
No,
our
it's not
viewers
confusing.
will get
No,
it
it's
right.
not.
No, I
It's
am
not confused. It's not
confused. I am
confused. It's not
confused.
confusing like that. If you do engagement now,
Mhm.
like the one we believe in here,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then with the intention of moving up
Mm-hmm.
to do the statutory thing,
Mhm.
and then there is only one certificate you will get.
No, what we
Sure,
are
you
asking,
understand?
what we
So
are
if we are
asking
talking-
is
We are
this.
talking about
What we are
customary
asking- You know,
alone.
you said something in customary. She spells this thing out for us. That in statutory, it's mono. We don't whether it is once it is a registered worship center, whichever
A licensed
Like-
worship.
yes,
licensed worship.
once it is
One wife.
mono, is
It's
one wife,
mono.
one.
But
when
they
you were- hold on,
too
mommy.
also go out.
When you were explaining to us,
Mm.
you were talking about customary, that it could be somebody who married two wives,
Which is polygamous in nature.
polygamous in
Mhm.
nature, and the woman too can have two husbands.
Mhm.
So why if I can
If there
have
is a
two,
problem.
if I can have two, it means then I can still come back to the customary and still do two, because the customary gave me that understanding based on my culture
You
to
can
do two.
you cannot come back.
So what makes
You
it
cannot come
polygamy?
back.
Then it's not polygamous.
If it's the traditional type that you have done, you know that one is polygamous.
traditional,
but if it
not
is
customary.
customary, and the one that you know that this one you are already having your certificate, it is a valid type of
Okay,
marriage.
maybe
No,
Barrister,
she has
you
already
can-
said
what-
that
what-
it's
what-
No,
customary
you
and
know what is
traditional.
causing. You know what
Now,
is causing. You know what is
yes.
causing like something here is
Mhm.
because people believe that because it's customary, they cannot go to court, they cannot do anything.
Yes,
So
that's
they
what
can-
people feel, that you
Yes.
can throw her out at
Yes.
any time.
No,
Because under
no,
culture, most people
no,
will tell you,
no.
I've heard people saying, I married you traditionally and I can have another one.
No, what our own type here is
You
they
guys
were
will
not
say
registered.
they've
They are
gone
not
to
registered.
ask for
Now,
our hand in marriage.
so we are now saying
which
we
is
have
the engagement.
traditional, we have customary, and then we have the statutory.
the statutory.
So under the traditional, he can do 10 wives.
whatever if it's
Based
capacity,
on
that's
his
where
tradition
it's
and
also
God,
now
yes. But
affecting the other
under
side.
customary,
The Islamic
because he has legalized it,
By
Mm.
registering it.
cannot come again and start marrying. If he does it, it's not going to
How
be.
many
it's not going
how many
to be-
registrations is he
That's
going
what I'm
to
saying.
Mhm.
If
in
he
his
does it,
name?
it's not going to be
Oh, okay,
legalized.
it's
Well, that's
only
what she's
one
talking about.
registration in the name.
So for him to be able to have
Oh.
another customary marriage, the first one must be dissolved.
Dissolved.
Oh, okay.
No,
You are-
the second one is illegal. Whether he deserves the first one or not, the
Mm.
second one is illegal.
I'm saying if
Yeah.
he wants to take the right steps,
Mm.
He has to dissolve.
He has
He
to
has to
dissolve.
dissolve
because the first one is legal.
Yes.
Okay,
So
ma,
it's almost
let's
like
let's take it
statutory.
It's
this
still
way.
the same.
Yeah.
Let's take it this way. In case, I mean, maybe the man died, and he has two wives, and he's got properties. I mean, who claims the property under the customary?
No, it depends on the type of death. If he dies interstate,
Interstate.
What is intest? Please calm
Speak
down.
language
Let's say
that we
we-
understand.
no, if he
Lawyers.
dies, somebody that dies without writing
A will.
Will, okay.
What did you call it? If he
in-
dies
Interstate.
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 INTS. We'll learn it after
Please
this.
write it there for us so that we will know. Yes.
So it will in most cases, I think this is the way the customary thing works. In most cases,
Mommy, you need to explain
It's
because people
basically-
are asking.
no, it's
Okay,
basically
so what then is customary marriage?
No, they are
It's
two
basically-
different things.
wait.
You have already said
no,
it.
it's basically tradition. When it comes to even sharing of anything, that's when you will see, because this happens mostly in the eastern parts of the country.
It's
Even here,
everywhere,
even here,
everywhere,
even here, they'll be like, that's when they'll not say, okay, even listen, is the first son that is the head of the family after the
Wow.
even the first son, not in our own side, the Igbo people, even the first son can go to the house and drive his mother out of the
Yes.
property
Mhm.
because he's the first
It's
son.
illegal by their
By their
tradition.
traditional, so they're by their tradition. So that's when there is death, that's when they will now envelope the advantages to suit them, that is customary and
This
tradition.
is their custom. So that's what we are saying.
Do you understand? So they
advise?
don't even look at they want to go to court or anything. In our area, this is what they do. If he dies, some people they will even say you killed the man, so sleep in the same room
With the cops.
with the cop. If you wake up tomorrow, good luck to you. If you don't wake up, you are the one that killed. All sorts of things.
Okay,
That
ma.
means
So,
the customary marriage is out of it.
no.
No.
We have a-
It's modernized.
Yes.
It's basically what you believe.
I think it's about educating people, because mostly, like, we are just knowing now that traditional is not the same with customary, right? And that if you do traditional, doesn't mean that you have done customary as in legally.
As
So-
in legally,
so we are now understanding.
engagement.
Some
If
of
you
us
do
that
your
have done engagement and have carried our load and gone to the house
House
thinking
of the
that we
man.
have already done
That
marriage.
means it's not
We
far.
have not done marriage.
No,
But that's the
truth. It's not recognized
They have
under
to
the
reg-
act.
they have to
Under
reg-
the act.
register it.
Because most people do
Mm.
that and they feel that they are traditional. You see them,
Mm.
they will do it and say we are already married and they have moved. But it's just
The people that know that they are not going anywhere. That's why you see men that are marrying 2 or 3 women. They just go and do the introduction and give
Introduction.
money, give gifts and everything, and they go home. So when he's ready for the second woman,
It will
he goes again to go and do
yes,
in
yes.
the Yoruba context in the southern part. They say he has gone to Toro to go and ask for the lady's hand in marriage.
All right.
And,
I
and then the ceremony that they do, that they give them drinks and everything, and people are there as witnesses and everything, that's just the end.
Thank you
Well,
so
I think
much.
to just shed more light on the question you asked, I think if I were asked, and I'm still quite young, so if a lady walks up to me and she's asking if she should go for customary or the statutory marriage, I think the best thing to do is to lay out the implications, explain the implications to them, and let them make their choices. You know, once they know what is involved, once they know that, like for the lady, she goes on with the traditional, she knows that her husband can wake up tomorrow and bring another woman. If she has all of those explanations made to them, and she's given the free will to
And
choose.
she's not married under the act.
And she's not.
And she's not
No, I'm
married
saying
under
that
them.
if a lady walked up to me
Yes,
asking,
and if she does
yes,
traditional, nothing. She's not married.
just
under the act.
explain all of the implications to them and let them choose for themselves what they want.
Okay, so I'm going to stay with you. My final question for you is, if a person contracts another marriage under the statutory law while still being legally married, what is the legal implication of that?
We say that that second marriage is void ab initio. It's like it never happened.
Null and void.
Like it never
Thank
happened.
you so much.
Okay. The second marriage never happened.
Yes.
So that means we could actually tell people who are getting married to married men who have married under the heart to desist from it because it's not having any benefit legally. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what
So
it
it's
is.
not having any benefit. It's
It's null and void. It's not even.
Even if the second marriage is not statutory, I don't even know how it's going to do it statutory, because there's going to be notice placed, there's going to be all these things. Everybody will sit and go and cross it that this man is already married.
It has to be
This marriage-
dissolved.
Yes,
It has to
I
be
have
dissolved.
a particular scenario that happened. Someone was going to get married. She thought the married man she was getting married to was divorced. That's what he told her. And then they were going to go ahead with the marriage. She goes to the registry, takes the form that she filled back to the registry, and they informed her that there's a marriage. This man's name popped up. And so she needs to go and get the divorce certificate to show that he's annulled the first marriage before they can register the second marriage.
Because you know why people even have the effrontery to think they can do these things and get away with it, because they
We
know
don't have
that
data.
no, we don't have the
don't have
who
data.
will go and see the placement,
No.
and the thing is for
Nobody
almost
knows.
30 days.
Yes.
Abi, I think between 23
Yes,
or 30 days,
because the
nobody
notice,
will go.
the notice is placed at the registry. It's not in the
Yes.
dailies.
It's not
So
in
if
the
I don't go,
daily.
if
So
I don't go to the registry, I don't see
How
that this
will you
person
know?
is getting married. That's how
How
they're
will you
able to
know?
get away with it sometimes.
So the purpose of actually posting is for
It's for objections.
public
Is it for
notice.
public notice?
Yes.
Public
Yes,
notice,
So
and
what
it's done by
happens-
their door.
Then the magistrate or the courts themselves, you mean they
The
don't
registrar.
check it? The registrar, they don't check it?
No, they
No,
won't. They
because
won't know.
most of
Anybody
the
don't
will
have
bring the
certificates are
applications.
issued. They're still in paper form. I think that
They're
if they
not
had it in their systems, then they can search
They can
names.
search names. Like when you want to register for church now, you have
So
a
the
search name.
only way they get to know is when there's an objection from the public.
Wow.
Okay, take for instance, let's take this question. You're sorry. A woman is being challenged by the husband by bringing in another woman. So if he goes to the registry to lodge the complaint that the husband is bringing in another woman into the house, whereas they have actually filed their marriage, I mean, what could be done
You know, there's a difference between
to
bringing in.
defend her?
There's a difference between bringing in a woman and being married to that woman.
No, I mean being married to the woman.
You're married to the second woman already.
Yeah,
He wants to get married.
No,
or
he's already married.
he's married.
How?
Okay.
He married a second wife. That's what
Okay,
you're saying.
he didn't marry it statutorily.
Even if
he
it
just
is
married
customary.
normally.
Which one
As
is
in
normal?
Which one is
traditional.
normal?
Okay, maybe
Traditional.
traditional, and you know, a
That
lot
that
of
is not.
marriages is happening
If
in Nigeria.
if the first marriage was statutory, every other marriage is null and void.
Even if it is customary, every other.
So he must go ahead to dissolve that first marriage before he goes into any
So
other
if
form of
such
union.
a woman take it up legally, the first wife take it
Okay.
up legally, that my husband is into other
Marriages.
marriages.
Mhm.
I mean,
What are the remedies available to
Yeah.
her?
The
Yes.
remedies
Yes.
available would be filing for a divorce, adultery.
So-
But then
or
you
what
need
if
to
the
be able to
government believe
prove
that's
that.
adultery?
No,
Yeah.
you need to be able to prove that.
That's
bigamy.
legally married.
Bigamy.
But that's
you have
bigamy.
your
No,
certificate.
That's
now.
when
Don't you have your
that's when he's
certificate?
married to the second person.
No, I mean
she's
the
talking
first one,
about
the
no,
first
she's
marriage.
talking about if he just brings in a woman.
He married
No,
her.
He's married the woman.
Yeah.
That's bigamy.
What's
It's
bigamy?
an offense.
Marrying
offense.
So she could
On
go
top
to
of
court
another
and
marriage.
sue
Yes.
the man for
Yes.
bigamy.
Yes.
That's
Then
good.
she can also ask for your child's custody.
Mhm.
She can also ask for
Financial support.
alimony.
Alimony,
It's a long
yes.
process.
She
It's
can,
a lot.
eh,
That's why
that's
people
why most
usually
people
don't
will
go through
just,
that
Just
process.
just be looking at
People
them.
just
That's,
move
First,
on
there is a
Just
stigma
moving.
attached to it.
to a-
Yes.
Mm.
And then there's the long process that you have to go through. Then there's also everything that you need to prove.
Because
You
Not-
can't
not
just come
believe
to
in
court
proof.
and say, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you need to bring your evidence to the
because
court.
do you know that's why in the states now, in Lagos State, they are saying, okay, if this man goes ahead and marry another person, bigamy, whatever the name is not a criminal thing. So they expunged it from the administrative justice, criminal justice
yes.
law in Lagos State, and most people are frowning at it. And the men are saying,
No, it will favor
congratulations,
them
so
now. They will like it.
this and that, but it doesn't work like that.
Thank
does
you
not
so
work like
much,
that.
amazing
Thank you,
women. I'm
thank
just
you.
going to go around in 30 seconds. Just give us your final words for tonight.
Okay, I am saying it will be better you go for the statutory marriage if we're talking as a normal human being.
Normal
But-
human being.
Yes.
That is if
But
it is
if
normal.
if I'm to talk like a pastor, I will beg of you, investigate before you invest.
Thank you so
Wow.
much. Yes,
Wow.
wow. Amazing.
Invest, in fact, investigate. before
So you invest. I love that.
That's good one. That's good one. Well, I think based on the question, because I also learned a lot. So let me not go into legal. I'm not a legal person, but I think with all what we have heard, it's very important that when we're talking about marriage, we do what is necessary.
Mm.
Let's really know what it is about marriage. Let's understand what we should do
Yeah.
in order to have a legal, backing,
Mhm.
and which is important for you. I've been in counseling for over close to 30 years, over 30 years, and I know what it is. I've had issues where traditionally somebody married or had a first wife, had 3 children with that one, left the town, got another one with 2 children, left that town, came to Lagos, had one with 3 children, and left that one, and came to the church to us and told us that now he wants to really marry. He wants to marry.
Really,
Yes, that he wants
really
to
marry. Those
And
ones are not.
we were shocked because we knew that he had children. But we our hands were tied
Yeah.
because there's nothing legal for
Yes.
us in the church. Yes, we know him and he's been staying with that lady. So we only stepped in as pastors, which we really didn't. We don't have the right to because there was no legal backing for all the women. And so for every lady, I keep telling her, I said, it will be wiser. You only know yourself. So it will be good and very good for you to take the right step before you consummate your marriage, so that you won't be the one, because the woman, I'm thank God I'm talking for the women. So, and I'm an advocate for that. The women have always been the ones, yes, the
That
women have
suffer.
always been the one that are
Victims.
they're the vulnerable ones, they're the ones that are most affected, they're the ones that are most hurt, they're the ones that are, in fact, it affects them more
Yes.
than it affects the man. When a man leaves his wife, it's okay. But once a woman is out of her husband's house, the stigma is there, the names are there, the calling, she's not able to maintain her home, and all whatnot and all whatnot. And she's exposed. So I will always tell the woman that make sure that you do what is right. I know sometimes we can't stop divorce even if we do the right thing.
I
But
know.
then let's do what is right, so that when the thing comes, you know that you have done all that you should do. Having all done, stand.
Thank you so much. Amazing.
Anyway, my own contribution to round up the whole thing is you have to be sure of what you want to do. Don't look at that you are too old because everybody is marrying. Then let me to go and marry. Or pressure from your parents, pressure from your peers. You just pray about your marriage, your future partner, and God will give you the bone of your bone and the flesh of your flesh.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And I am for information and for asking questions. So for me, if you are getting married, ask questions. I know that we say that under the Statutory Act, you don't need the consent of parents, but I still will go for having parental consent on both sides, because then you're able to get information that maybe your spouse, your
Will
partner
not reveal.
hasn't revealed to you.
Mm.
So there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Try to meet parents, try to meet family members. So even if you're in love and you quickly want to run to the
I'm in
registry,
love. Oh.
please ask questions.
Mm.
No
Please
matter
ask
how
questions.
old
No
you are.
matter
No
how
matter
old you
how
are. Even if you think I'm above 21, I don't need anybody's consent. Both of us consenting is fine. I think, especially as a Christian, we still need that parental consent.
That's right.
That blessing, there's something that it carries. So I'm for asking questions.
A round of
Thank
applause to everyone on this program. Mommy Shadi, over to you.
Okay.
Mrs. Shadi.
This is just the 1.0 of Legal on Air for Ikeja province. I tell you, we're coming with the 2.0,
Yes.
and it's going to be louder than this.
Send me
You
your
know, we
questions.
limited ourselves to the statutory and the customary acts in marriage, and we were not talking about the types of marriages, the Christian, the days, and all those kind of things. And they still deep to this Legal on Air because we're going to be diving in. We're going to be looking at the subject of separation. We're going to be looking at the subject of divorce. We're not going to hide anything away. So I want to plead with our viewers at home. We're sorry for the little time we delayed in coming online today. It's not going to repeat itself like that in the next moment. The next edition. So stay tuned. Watch out on our Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube, as we'll be coming your way again. The next time we're coming, I want to say very big thank you to all our facilitators. And I'll start from our state coordinator in the person of Apostle Josephine and the actual you. With all your time, you still look back to check out on us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
We celebrate you.
We love you.
Yes. Pastor Mrs. Funmilayo Ogunsanwo, the woman with the long years of experience when it comes to customary marriage. We celebrate you. As a matter of fact, she has been in the government setting for long, and she retired few years back. Thank you.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you.
Thank you.
And also to our one and only secretary of the Ikeja Province Women Wing, our secretary. Thank you, Enito Afolabi, for coming. I love that your soft way of dishing us in. Thank you. And to our lovely sister, ever known, ever online, always there, the only daughter of the king, and Judith. Thank you for all you do for women and children in Lagos State. And we celebrate you. Thank you for anchoring this program. I love you. We celebrate you. And to all PFM women, Lagos State, we celebrate you. To Ikeja PFM Women Wing, thank you. To our Hebu chairman, Pastor Amos Obidari, thank you for giving us the privilege to do this. We celebrate you. No, we can't go. We want to celebrate the sheriffs. The sheriffs.
Yes.
The sheriffs, you are wonderful. Within the short notice that we want to do this, not even coming to see you physically, just on phone, you gave us this wonderful studio. We love the ambience. Cheryl will say thank you. Pastor Lumide and the lovely wife Ajoka, we celebrate you. We are coming back. And please, I want to beg our viewers out there, you're looking out for a studio to do your music, to do your recording. Oh, no. We are just using a very small portion of this. You've got to come and you never regret coming to patronize the sheriffs. Thank you. Follow them on their social media, and you, as a matter of fact, they rescued us. Yes, they rescued us when when our own was not working. So we celebrate everyone. So the crewmen in the studio,
thank you.
Mr. Joseph, thank you. Mr. Joseph, thank you. We have two Joseph, and we have Mr. Oluwanishola Kwesi in the home. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, viewers. Till we'll meet again, same time, next time. We say, woo! Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you
so much
for honoring us.
Thank you, ma. We celebrate so much.